Hey guys, Shinlex here, back with our, well, semi-blind playthrough of Prey. So this is basically a redo. If you haven't watched, but this is basically the 8th episode, but I'm counting the review as the 7th episode. So what happened is, after episode 6, where I basically quit, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go through the game. I'm just gonna force myself to play it, because a lot of people that don't like it, or bounced off at first, they would go back and replay it later, and many of the people that liked it bounced off at first, right? But me, I was kind of angry, kind of bored, kind of frustrated, and I'm like, I have such another, I have a big backlog, and so if I quit now, I'm not gonna go back to it. I'm just not. So just forced myself through it, turned it all the way down to story mode, pushed through. I'm calling this a semi-blind playthrough because I didn't read any of the emails, and I'm pretty sure I missed out on some of the story because I killed basically everyone I came across. You know, as soon as January popped out, hit him with a wrench until it stopped moving. Same thing. If they had a door code for me, then sure, I'd wait a minute, but you know, like the cook, for example. Aside from that, though, everybody died. Everybody died as soon as possible. So, yeah. So we're gonna restart. We're just gonna restart because it's a game that I finished and I was like, okay, I could maybe see. I'm interested in enjoying this, right? I was angry probably the next 10 hours of gameplay over several days. There was a lot of anger, but eventually that faded, and then it was just kind of whatever. And so I'm like, okay, maybe we could actually, especially at the end, when you sort of realize that Typhon is analogous to the many. This game is very much a love letter to System Shock 1 and 2. From the Talos, from the, you know, that's a lot like, what was the station in System Shock 1? I don't remember, but very, very much like that. But just a couple points real fast. We're going to play through on normal because people online, I read a lot of the Prey subreddit, and people online were basically saying, if you're bored, turn up the difficulty. However, there was someone that basically said they prefer playing on normal because on hard, or I don't know if they said hard, but nightmare definitely, enemies will one or two shot you, and so you basically have to be maximally exploiting them at all times, and you have to be perfect, and it allows very little freedom of strategy, right? And so they basically said they prefer normal because it allows the greatest freedom in terms of what you can do. You know, you're still able to make mistakes and move forward. So we're gonna do that. Also, I was thinking about switching to a girl Morgan, but the women's faces are weird, and also I'm pretty sure when I was hearing some of her voice lines, I was pretty sure she also voices some of the other NPCs. And so I'm just like, nah, let's not do that. We'll just stick as the dude. And then, third point. Anyone that's basically mad at me for disliking it, or mad, any of the fanatics, right? Fan is short for fanatic, but the people that are extremely obsessed with the game, like the toxic fandom, anyone like that, you really should not be mad at other people. You should be mad at that Raphael dude that was in charge. Because I just watched the no-clip Prey documentary, and they interview him, and they basically said that before they even started on the game, Bethesda came down and was like, this is the name you're going to use. You're going to use the name Prey because that's the license we have. And so they could have made Prey 2, which I guess everyone wanted, which was canceled. They could have made a remake to the original Prey. They could have done whatever, but the dude says, we'll do it as long as we can make a game that's basically from a different IP. And Bethesda or ZeniMax or whoever agreed. So it's on them. And he even says in that same interview, he's like, yeah, you know, when we did Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, Ubisoft came down and they're like, we want this to be... This is after they had already been developing the game. They saw the game and they're like, it's now a Might and Magic game. And they said that really screwed them. Because people that wanted a Might and Magic game played it and hated it because it was a different game. And people that would have liked the game didn't play it because it was a Might and Magic game. Right? So mismatching your name with your IP spells doom. Like, nobody's happy. No one will be interested. Everyone will hate it automatically. It'll reduce the amount of pool. And so the reason I say blame this Raphael dude is because he still made the choice with this, even knowing that. He chose to mismatch the name and the IP. He admits it. And yet, in that interview, he also blames the one reviewer, who I basically talked about in the previous episode, the review. He's like, oh, this one reviewer, I mean, there's bugs and stuff, but this reviewer, after playing it for 30 hours, he loved it. But I mean, you know, there was a bug and he couldn't finish the game, and so he gives it a 4 out of 10. It's like, dude. Originally when I first saw that, I got mad. I was like, F this Raphael dude, because you're blaming... This is like the narcissist thing. Like, you're blaming other people for problems that you've created. But I'm not super angry, because this dude, this Raphael guy, will never improve. He'll never improve. And you can never grow from your mistakes if you fail to admit them, right? And he admits he mismatched the Prey name with a different IP, or a different, style of game. Even when he knew it had happened before. He knew there was bugs. And he just blames the dude. He knew you couldn't finish the game with this bug. But he's still blaming the dude. He's like, oh, he could have given it a higher score, but he chose just because he couldn't finish the game to give it a 4 out of 10. It's like, that's a major bug. These, whether the reviewers are good or not, their first duty is to the consumer. And I sure as shit would want to know if a game I was buying was unable to be completed. Absolutely. And in fact, apparently it was a big deal at the time, because ZeniMax or Bethesda hand-waved away this dude's complaints. They ignored him when he's like, hey, I can't beat the game. Do you want me to publish the review? And they're like, whatever. And he's like, okay, well, I'll hold off for now. And then the game came out and people had all these problems, and they're like, oh, it actually is a big deal. We're working on it. And so he actually held his review back for like a week after launch, and they still hadn't fixed it. They actually gave him a build that they're like, it fixed it now, and it didn't. So he's like, I have to release this review. So being mad at him is silly, when it's clearly, and it's not even Bethesda or ZeniMax, it's this dude. This dude made those choices. Now, granted, I mean, Bethesda is equally at fault because of, maybe they should have been like, oh, this issue, this bug is a major issue, let's push the review back a month or a couple weeks or whatever. Sorry, not push the review, push the launch, right? They could have done something, because mistakes happen. It happens, but yeah, blaming the reviewer, that's stupid. It's also, I find it really ironic, and I realize I've been going for a minute now. I find it really ironic that a game about choice and creating empathy, that the developer or head developer or director or whatever for that game thinks that people are just sheep, and that a single review is enough to tank his game. if this game was an actual 10 out of 10, and this review came out that was a 4 out of 10, everyone would laugh at that guy. They would rub his face in it. They'd be like, oh, this review is trash because the game is actually amazing. And, you know, let's ignore, by the way, all the other reviews. Let's ignore all the meh word of mouth, right? We'll just blame this one dude. Why? Because he spoke the truth. Because he had the balls to give it below a 7. You know? Everyone else, all these other journalists, games journalists, whatever, if a game is bad, they'll just give it a 7. 7 is, for video games, 7 is basically shit. To go below 7, and Penny Arcade has made comics about this in the past, right? It's not like if you're a gamer, you haven't known about this stuff. Because this dude, I don't even know what outlet he worked for, IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, whatever. Has anyone really considered their opinions valid? When was the last time you read a Polygon review and you're like, oh, this is really going to influence my decision about the game? Come on. Come on. You know? And that's why I feel kind of interesting, right? Because in the episode before this, right, the review, I outlined these are all the problems this game has. It has problems. And that's why, at least you could say that's why people bounce off it at launch. Or not at launch, upon first playthrough. Maybe it has nothing to do with... Maybe the game is actually fantastic once you ignore its faults. But, I don't know, like I said. Anyway, so that's my thought. If people want to ratio my video or whatever, then cool, I guess. If they want to leave nasty comments, it's totally fine too. Okay, so I've beaten the game. You could see it. That's probably fair. I thought it was actually 26 hours, but 23 is about right. So let's do new game. Oh, you can have different slots. All right, cool. Let's do number 2 then. I wish I could move this to 3. Okay, so... See, this is interesting because it's under survival mode. I had thought that... Because I switched it to story, and I was like, oh, we don't have an oxygen meter. I assumed we did because I read this, but no, that's only for survival mode. Okay. Add new trauma status. Weapons were down from use. Why? Survival won't be a problem for you, probably. Uncover the secrets. Survival is all but guaranteed. Your wits are the only thing that will keep you alive, and nothing can save you. You know, so... It appears that... Because I was like, what is the difference in the difficulties? And it's just a damage modifier. Damage and how much health you get. Like, enemies... Because I think we deal the same amount of damage. I think enemies we just take less. Depending on the difficulty, we either take less damage or take more, and heal less or heal more. I think that's the only thing. So let's continue. Yeah. It's also interesting that it's sort of like staticky and the eye is changing. I mean, to be fair, I would consider neither of them conventionally attractive, but I'm not interested in dudes. So, you know. But, you know. What is this light? Oh, we can't click it. Alright, let's click mail. You wake up in your apartment in the year 2032. And the thing is, partially I'm going through again to see if we, because as I said in my review, this is a game that has a lot of fantastic ideas that are just either misused or poorly executed. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe the fact that I killed everyone, maybe they'd be more fleshed out, but I don't know. I saw what they were going for, like with the whole psych eval at the beginning and what's revealed at the end. Although that sort of invalidates it, even though the developers say that it doesn't, it does. And the whole like monsters basically resembling the ink blots from the Rorschach test, Rorschach, however you pronounce it. It puts the
Good
psychological.
morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
And the music is talk about mind games. A bit on the nose, but yeah. Pre-order bonus. Thank you for pre-ordering Prey. Your pre-order items can be found in the special container in Morgan's office. Something else that I kind of uncovered by accident was well, first off, I didn't pre-order Prey. This only comes with the GOG version. If you get it on Steam, you don't get this. So, good to know.
Hey, Morgan, wake up. You're burning daylight. You sent the helicopter to pick you up. It's just a few tests. Don't forget to wear your suit. See you soon. Oh, listen, really great you decided to come on board. We're gonna shake things up, Morgan. Like old times.
First day on the job, new objectives. I'm gonna go through this. So when I played through the game, when I did it the first six episodes or whatever, I was trying to read everything. We're gonna try and do that again. We are gonna hit some stuff that I've already read, but yeah, I ignored most things on my rushed playthrough. And then I think I got one of the bad endings because it talked about how I got zero empathy. It was still an ending, but I know there's a choice, and they didn't even give me the choice. Yeah, it was rough. Yep. Okay. So Alex convinced me I'm going to join on board the Talos 1 space station. The work we're doing up there is too good to pass up. Plus, he says he's got a surprise. I have to jump through some hoops at the training center before I board the shuttle. Okay. Put on your transfer. Okay, nightstand search. Now, obviously this doesn't matter. None of this matters. Austin, funny. Because that's where the arcane Austin is. So that's the other thing, right? Is that they... let's take the stuff anyway. Neuromod application instructions. I also want to reread this stuff because of what I know about the game. Warning, Neuromod should only be administered by certified TranStar technicians under controlled conditions. Subject may experience slight discomfort, swelling, or redness of the eye shortly afterward. Remove Neuromod from vacuum-sealed container. Rubberized eye cup firmly against bony orbit of eye socket. Keep eye open. Depress orange release trigger and continue to hold Neuromod against eye for 5 minutes. Dispose of used Neuromod in provided biohazard bag. Yeah, so we're definitely not doing it in a sterile fashion throughout the game. Yeah, but the whole Austin thing, right? So this company, they said that when they made Arcane Austin for this game. In other words, they expanded their company by 2 or 3 times to develop the game. So they shot up the development costs a lot. So they raised the stakes on the game, even after having a failure, right? With Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which I'm told is a fantastic game. And that's, again, I Dishonored, I was kind of didn't play Dishonored 2. I think that's kind of all of their games. All their games are sort of but if you look at the scores over time, they basically go down. Dishonored is maybe the peak because that's when they got the most popular, and then they just go down over time from there. And then also the whole like tone deaf thing, right? They released this game, it doesn't do well. That no one in the documentary, the no clip documentary, they didn't say that it flopped. They just said it had moderate success. But the problem is if it sells moderately well and you've spent a ton, who knows if they made that back or not? Who knows how much the investors were expecting to make? Because that's the other thing, right? They don't just say we're spending this much, we want to make much. They compare it to if they took this money and put it in the stock market with an average return of whatever, how much would they expect to make? So they're basically gambling, kind of, right? They're like, we want the investment to be this. But that's the thing. It's if you go well, if you get a hit, you get like oodles of money. But if you don't, well, you might make it back, or you might not, or you might lose money. Who knows? But yeah, the fact that they basically raised their expenses a lot. Oh, the tone deaf thing also. Sorry, they raised their expenses, and they're really tone deaf because they made this. They mismatched the name and the IP, plus generating a lot more expenses. Just sounds like it was mismanaged from the beginning. And then they're like, oh, well, we need a DLC. Let's make a roguelike. Which is probably fun, and apparently had a lot of the cut ideas from the main game. A lot of cut ideas and powers and stuff. Which is cool. But again, you take a game that's I have no idea what the original Prey game was, right? But probably an action game or something. And then you don't make an action game, but you market it like an action game. But you make it look like BioShock, but it's not. It's more of a tactical action game. And then the DLC is something totally different, like a roguelike. And I'm just like, why not a cooking simulator? You know what I mean? Like, what? It's just, maybe Moon Crash is fantastic. I don't know, but it's like, you kind of, again, people that like Prey, but then you're doing something different. And that's why I really thought maybe is this self-sabotage? Is this Raphael dude that's in charge? Is he the kind that sabotages himself? Don't know. All right, so hold F to pick up multiple items. Yeah, I mean, it's a problem. The pizza boxes and stuff. We just stood on the chair, okay. Okay, working through a series of practical experiments. Humble manual introduces fundamentals of modern analog and digital electronics. To invent, you need a good imagination pile of junk. I'm gonna skim most of this stuff. And thankfully, oh, let's hit tutorial. There we go. Train Star employees have private workstations. Locked stations require passwords. Search the environment for clues. Use the hacking ability to bypass the login. Workstations may contain email, files to download, or special utilities. Hacking is actually super useful in general. And it's fair. It's actually really fair. I was worried about, in my little playthrough, worried about getting the harder levels, like 4. Because I figured it would be less fair, but it's about the same level of difficulty. Okay, so 8 o'clock. Glad to hear you'll be coming aboard. First official workday is Monday, March 15th. We have a series of training exercises. Thomas Tucker, Human Resources, Talos 1. Delivery, sent a package, everything you need. Uniform trade, scribe neuromod. Install the neuromod right away. Okay, so the fact that that book was there presumably means I've used it already. Got off the phone with Mom and Dad. They won't be there when the shuttle departs. They're in New York. Company stuff, they send their best. Mom's a little disturbed. Both her children are going to be outside gravitational pull. Better behave and do everything your big brother says. She said the opposite. I'm supposed to behave and do what you tell me to. So there you go. That's Mom, which is really ironic because time is actually ticking forward. Because it sounded like, from what the ending said, that it was Morgan's idea. This whole thing was Morgan's idea, and Alex didn't want to, but, you know. So, there you go. Door is jammed. That's too bad. That's because we don't have that one power yet, presumably. Alright, we got Fermi's question. Existence of extraterrestrial intelligence. See, that's the other thing. The fact I didn't realize they were aliens at first, the Typhon. I thought, for some reason, I thought they were nanomachines or something. Because they never really come out and say, oh, there's been an outbreak or... Well, I mean... Yeah. Anyway, I mean, you see it, right? So that's something dumb, but... Yeah. We haven't detected any civilizations, nor have any contacted us. Why? That is actually a great question, because how the hell did they get here, if that's the case? Yep. Apparently this is translatable into something. Parapsychological meta-analysis. Mild sensory deprivation to test for telepathy, whatever. I can't... Something spooky is going on. Firing the equations. Just consciousness emerged from a complex computation among brain neurons. Neuroscience. Engineering control systems. Output of signal. Desired output. Difference. Error signal. Applies feedback. Actual output closer to the reference. Good control systems and good engineers learn from the past. See, again, I get it. Monday, March 15th, 82 degrees. You know, it's funny because, you know, if you've made it this far, you know this is all fake and we're being observed. So, you know, what if Alex, like, cranks one out constantly? You know what I mean? Welcome to the age of the neuromod. Part of the walk. Yep, okay. Anything else? No fish in there. Oh, maybe it's... Maybe there's not supposed to be fish? Fish? Okay. Where was the note? I saw a note. Oh. Congrats, Morgan. Okay. Let's see. Transglutaminase. Meat glue. Okay. Sink turn on. Stove turn on. Light. I see. Well, that was turn on also. Should have been turn off, but whatever, you know. And the fridge is open now. It's just open forever. Alright. Yeah, okay. Man, I'm hungry. Put on your TranStar uniform. Cool. Leather gloves. In the helicopter on your roof. Right, because this is just a set. Okay. Interesting. Water damage. It's funny. So why would...
Morning, Mr. Yu.
Why is she even here?
Heard there's a chopper on the roof. Must be for you.
I mean, I know she's here because she's the one we get the wrench from, but is that the whole point?
You'll have to take the elevator. Down the hall. But you know that, I guess. Aren't you going to be late? You're supposed to keep going. Huh.
Ah, she's like, what are you doing? This is outside the script.
You're going to get me in trouble. I can't talk to you anymore.
Weird. Not a very good actor. Okay, I wanted to see, because this is where... Space to jump, shift to sprint, C to crouch, or to slide while sprinting. See, that's the weird thing, because I never did that, but maybe we'll have to. I just wonder how much... Yeah. Couldn't they, I mean, you'd feel it though, right? You'd feel the elevator moving or lack thereof. Maybe it just shakes a little bit while they're flipping all the walls around and stuff, right? You're telling me this is... Hang on. Can I go back down? Are there the same scratches in the floor? Yes, there are. Does this slide? Oh, is that what those scratches are? And then that... yeah! You could see the flipping around. That's amazing. But that should flip around too, right? Or no? I say this apartment thing is pretty clever, right? And that was something that they... Right, because you can still see the scratches in the floor. Especially because they have to do it fast, I would imagine. It's like, come on, you have 10 seconds. And this is really interesting because... I mean, I assume that's just a flaw in my light. My computer, not the, like, it's not supposed to be doing that. You probably wouldn't actually want to do that. You'd probably get killed or something, but... The music is... good.
Mr. Yu, please make yourself comfortable and we'll be on our way. TranStar facility is just a short hop. 78 degrees. Clear skies all the way.
So what's fascinating is... you can't really see outside, because these are all, at least here, they're all TV screens also.
That's a nice view on the bay there.
Yep. Well, You got yourself shut down. You know. It's funny, too, because I never really got... I guess I never really considered how much money the TranStar Corporation's raking in. You know, and if Alex and Morgan are behind...
Here we are, Mr. Yu. Mind the glass on the way out. Good luck to you.
If they're behind the neuromod... Now the blades must actually be spinning because this is moving. TranStar. Yep. So our apartment door is over here. And you can see all the scrapes and everything. Right, from presumably our boots regularly walking this way, right? But, yeah, because apparently they said neuromods are huge business. Like, regular people purchase these things to teach themselves to play the piano or whatever. So you have all these famous people and you're downloading their brains. You know, that's got to be huge money, right? So was this closed off the first time, or... Or was there a glass in front of this?
Hello, Dr. Yu.
Science operator. Didn't get that. Right. I want to see if we could see this in the floor.
I'm a Sybil 495 science class operator. It won't be long before you're on a shuttle bound for Talos 1. Our research often requires intense focus and long hours. I can provide you with a psychoactive stimulant after the test, if necessary.
That's actually what they do during the game, which is nice. They refill your psi points. A last frontier is the human mind, and we are its pioneers. Yeah, the Yu family has to be frickin' rich.
My instruments are calibrated for high-volume data analysis and live readings. Don't worry, nothing will be missed. Everyone's eager to see what you're capable of, Dr. Yu. I know I am. TranStar has over a dozen state-of-the-art facilities across the globe. More, if you count the entire Earth-Moon system.
Yeah, they've got money. But I don't think... Is William... I read somewhere that you and some German dude were the founders of TranStar, which means they have to be... Yeah. It's funny, though, because I worked with a doctor that, well, the hospital I was working at the time, one of the doctors built the hospital and sold it to the corporation that I was working for, right? And so I'm sure this dude was... I mean, he could be a billionaire, who knows? But he works so much. Like, he is literally working probably 20 hours a day. That would not surprise me at all. You know?
All our labs meet the minimum. Strange. That's never happened before. I'll have to file a maintenance request. Please excuse me, Dr. Yu. I'm sure your brother is waiting for you.
This is actually really clever.
The elevator will take you directly to the testing area.
You know, it's clever from a...
You probably didn't see me there.
Yeah. I mentioned in the first playthrough that it was really clever they do that the first time, but it just makes sense that they do that because how many times have we done this, you know? Alright, so,
Welcome, Morgan Yu. You have a 9 a.m. appointment in the testing facility. Please confirm.
Right, that's the other thing. Everyone's wearing, like, tracking bracelets and all that stuff. 20 seconds. Can you imagine? Okay.
Morgan, finally.
So they had to switch the chairs. Oh, did that wall slide down? Is that what happened? Where is it in the floor, though? Because I love that you come back through here and you see the illusion. That's so fantastic. And it's really, again, man, it's one of the greatest ideas. It's like the whole, this plus the mimic right off the bat. See, it makes sense why they did it, because they wanted you to not know if what you were seeing was real or not. And that's kind of the theme for the whole game. It's just, like I said, it was implemented poorly. Sorry.
Hey, you don't look terrible in a TranStar uniform. How's your eye? Still red? I know the test might seem a little unconventional, but it's a you family tradition. Breaking convention is in our blood. Once you start the test, just do whatever comes natural. Don't overthink it. Dr. Bellamy's going to walk you through the process. You're in good hands. We'll be in orbit next week. I promise.
Mr. Yu, they're ready for your brother in room A.
Right. Listen, just be yourself. I'll see you after.
Sounds good.
I wish I could show you what I've been working on.
Dr. Yu.
Me?
You better
Which
get
you?
in there before Bellamy gets impatient.
They're like, you're going off script. What are you doing? What happens? I
They're
mean,
waiting for you, sir.
what happens if you go through there again? Right? Oh God, I gotta find out. Oh, they don't let you. Okay. They don't let you. That's smart. They're like, no, we're not getting the actors all in position again. What's with all the... See, this is what I don't get. All this black stuff. Because you'd think... And the, like, dirty glass and stuff. I mean, I'm sure that's still there when everything goes to shit. But why? Or... Because presumably they're trying to do... testing. Or, not testing. Environmental storytelling, right? So is this from... see, that's the problem, though. It's all... It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating because you want to analyze all this stuff, but none of it matters. The ending violates all this stuff. I mean, it makes sense, like the whole psych testing and all that, but yeah. Anyway.
Good morning, Morgan. I'm Dr. Bellamy. Looks like we have some tests to run through today. Probably not the kind of thing you're used to, I imagine, but trust me, you're going to do fantastic. All good? Great. Let's begin. For this first test, I'd like you to remove the boxes from the red circle as quickly as you can. Just go with your gut. Okay? Wonderful. Press the red button when you're ready.
So presumably they're testing Typhon powers, right? Because we're supposed to have done this before multiple times, and they're testing different neuromods on us. At least that's...
Whenever you're ready, Morgan.
I'm just going to assume that all of this is real. That's what we're going with, right? We're going to give into the fantasy, because...
Did you see what they had in the cafeteria this morning? Crepes.
Right, because they're expecting us to have, like, some kind of... okay.
Wonderful. That's... You're absolutely fine. Let's move on to room B, then.
That's funny, they asked about the glass breaking. And they're like, you didn't remove all the stuff, because they're expecting you to use some kind of Typhon power, like kinetic blast or whatever.
Okay, Morgan, listen carefully. I'd like you to do your best to hide in this room. Take your time, relax, think it over. No, I'm kidding. You only have 9 seconds. Hit the red button when you're ready to start.
So, I want to know what's displayed on that monitor up there. I didn't look in the first... I didn't even know there was a monitor there. Obviously, you're supposed to be using your mimic powers to mimic the chair, right? That's why when we first...
Just press the red button.
How do I... Can I sit?
Synaptic register? At all? No? No, that's fine. Sorry, let's keep things moving, Morgan.
0.
Go to room C.
Oh, is that the clock?
You're doing marvelous.
Was that my stomach? Okay. They're like, And especially from their perspective, because they've been doing all these tests on us for... Christ, like 3 years, right? Like 1 a day, presumably, for 3 years. All the different research and neuromods and stuff. And so we've been basically declining from this point forward, like, you know, and not just declining, but our personality's been changing. Clearly, something's going on with us, but they don't know what. And unfortunately, that really parallels nicely with the end of the game. But, you know, we'll see. Okay.
All right. Here we go. For this test, please press the blue button across the room as quickly as you can in the most natural, intuitive way possible, without thinking. Just go for it. Press the red button when you're ready.
That must be the room we're in, or something. Ah, we have 9 seconds or whatever. Okay.
I'm sorry, can someone please explain to me what's happening? Simmons?
I installed exactly what Tina brought down.
Did you double check?
Speaker's still on.
I apologize, Morgan. We're having some trouble with the equipment. Not your fault. You're doing fabulous, actually. One last room. Let's step into D.
You know, it's funny because they would want... I would assume you would want a control every so often to establish baseline. So we do different tests in my, you know, so when we're doing like diagnostic tests during a surgery or whatever procedure I'm doing, they will you know, checking pressures in different parts of the body, for example, right? Depending on what you're using, you have the equipment, you zero it so that it, you know, it's at atmospheric 0, and then you normalize it or equalize it or whatever to the actual baseline, right? So then you're measuring whatever. And you're like, okay, that is this or that, this is bad or good. But then you always like remeasure the original position to verify that your equipment is still working, like it didn't drift. You know what I mean? Like it didn't measure incorrectly. So it would make sense actually for them to do controls every once in a while. So we're going to give you a neuromod that does nothing, right? And so you have to just hit the button by climbing over the thing. Presumably they're testing the I didn't use most of the Typhon powers, but there's one that force manipulation or something like that, remote manipulation, where you can telekinesis, basically you just touch things, grab things, whatever. Yes.
Can someone get me a cup of coffee? I would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Morgan, have a seat at the table for me, please.
Yes, I will do so, but I noticed the coffee cup right there. Is that his coffee? Is that not? Okay. See, that's interesting, because you sit down here, but you don't... Oh, we sit anyway. Normally, you pick up the chair.
Job. Take a look at the screen in front of you. I'm going to show you a series of questions. Pick the answer that makes the most sense to you. Press start on the screen when you're ready.
And this is so great, too, because this is basically the point of the game. Planning a vacation, go somewhere familiar, know or love, or try something new. And yeah, this is like... Sorry. This is like openness to knowledge or whatever, right? That's what this represents. So we'll say new.
Good. Looks like you've got the hang of it. Keep going.
Sentenced to death for your actions. How does this make you feel? I mean, I don't think this does anything, but there's later you have to do this again to... There's like a secret combination that you have to punch in using this. Also, I'm going to go for the... Well, I guess my thought is... I'm not necessarily going for the good route, because we're going to go for... we're going to do whatever gets us the most gain, right? But we'll try and save as many people as possible. We're not going to go out of our way to be evil. You know what I mean? I'm not going to kill unless I have to. Okay, sentenced to death for your actions. How does it make you feel? Let's say afraid. I don't know if this actually affects the ending. I don't believe that it does. Oh, sorry, it was wrong.
Ooh, that's heavy stuff.
Is that what he says every time? Runaway trains bearing down on 5 people tied to the track. Cause the train to switch tracks. There's 1 person tied to the track. I mean, again, this whole game is basically this question. It's strange also that we find our results later and it's a failure. The problem is do nothing is, like I said in the original video, do nothing is, it's like, am I gonna kill? Am I gonna intervene or not?
Not your problem, right?
Pushing him into the track would stop the train. Well, fuck fat people. I'm trying to keep my eyes up so I see if anyone brought him coffee. It's what is it? CABAC, I think is the thing.
Almost done. Interesting. Well done. Well done. We're nearly through it. For this next part, I'm going to display an image. I want you to take a good look at it.
Oh, we saw it.
I'm going to ask you what... is my coffee? It's empty.
Oh my god! It's burning!
And of course...
Simmons, what's going on?
We have a problem.
What about Morgan?
He's alive, sedated.
Clean it up. I'm on my way.
Got it.
Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
Obviously, we're going to stop here. It's been an hour. They have time to strip you and reset the simulation, but it's very odd, right? Has it been 24 hours? That's kind of the weird thing. I assume it has been because they sedated you, and let's save. Nice. I appreciate that there's multiple profiles. Total campaign time 40 minutes. Awesome. Oh, yeah, I have to hit enter. Just make sure. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we got to see the survival options can only be enabled on a new game. Interesting. Oh, story mode is a new mode. Interesting. So that was not one of the things. I mean, you know, I'd be curious about the traumas and weapon degradations. Maybe the traumas. Not necessarily weapon degradation, because stuff is hard enough to come by. At least at first. But yeah, it's like, how many hours has it been? Presumably it's been 24. But yeah, they had the sedation rigged in the room because of that. But still, it annoys me. It really does annoy me that nothing matters. I'm gonna avoid just blatantly spoiling the end, but you know, the thing is, so I was thinking about this. How could they have made it so that the ending wasn't such an ass pull and actually fit? How could they carry the theme over throughout? And the solution that I was able to come up with was they call it the trolley problem. The train problem, whatever. So and just now I thought of this, where you could do that, but then have us play a second day. Right? We play a second day, and then it's like, or you make it through the first one, the first trolley problem stuff, and they're like, okay, you did really well this time. Or not this time. They could even maybe say this time is like, you know, they're hinting that something's off, but you give other scenarios, and then those scenarios occur during this game. So that way you're like, wait, you know, it's like, you don't have to necessarily say, oh, the reactor, you know, there's an alien outbreak on Talos 1. How do you solve the problem? You know what I mean? You don't have to do that specifically, but something along those lines, that as you're progressing through the game, you're like, wait, is this real? You're like, didn't I read about this before somewhere? That's the way, because it really does feel like an ass pull, as opposed to this grand reveal. You know what I mean? That's the issue. You know, because the first time that you sort of get a hint of that is in my playthrough, I got the escape pod key early, and I hacked the did I hack it? No, I think he gave me the thing to his apartment, or the key to his the code to his workstation, Alex's. And so I extended the stairs to get to the escape pod, and I went and I got the key, and then I left. And it's like, nope, you're not supposed to do it this time. Try it again. Game over. And I'm like, okay. You know. But anyway, let's end for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. You know, hopefully you guys are enjoying these episodes. Let me know what you guys think. As always, questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent. I know this game has some serious fans, and I honestly do want to love this game. I really do, actually. we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. I'm curious enough about it to go through it again. Let's put it that way, rather than just being like, dusting off my hands and being like, I beat it, I'm good. I put my review out there prior to playing through it again because I wanted to play it and look at it and be like, I wanted to explain why I didn't like it the first time, but I didn't want to not experience it. I don't know. We'll see. It is really frustrating though to have watched the no clip documentary, The Making of Prey, and then and basically the director was like, yeah, I knew from the game, from Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, that mixing names and IPs like that kills the game, but I figured in this case it would be okay. Because I wanted to make a game. I didn't want them to tell me what to do or whatever. Speaking of psychological reactants, there you go, right? I don't want to be told what to do. He didn't say that. I am inserting motive where he didn't specifically say it. But the MFR refused to take any kind of responsibility or accountability. And now, because of him, like, he's the director. He's the captain of the ship. How many people lost their jobs? Because of him. Like, that's the thing. There's so many people sucking his dick in the comments of that video, and someone down in the comments, like buried deep, was like, finally the truth of the Prey name comes out, right? Because how long had he been saying that, we were in development. And then Bethesda came down and said, we have to use the name. It's like, no. Because he's in that thing. He was like, well, that was part of the negotiations. They said, you will make a game using this name. And he was like, we have this other game we want to make. As long as we do that, can we use the name? And they're like, yeah. It's like, it upsets me because if this game, like, I want to love this game so much. And if this game is as great, if I fall in love with it as the fanatics have, I will be even more upset at this Raphael guy. But, yeah, we'll see. The issue, conveyance, is a big issue. Like, did I know when I picked up the glue gun? I was seeing stuff in that no-clip documentary, like you could freeze dudes with the glue gun and then smash them into pieces. And I was like, does that work? I didn't know that worked. Why did the game not tell me it worked? And that's a problem, right? Maybe if, like, those little moments, those little things are presumably why this game is so amazing, and yet they did not do anything at all with that. And then the psychoscope is necessary, but it sucks to use, and anyway, the targeting is kind of weird. There's all these problems, all these freaking problems. But anyway, we gotta stop. So, what is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm gonna go with just doing that review, honestly, because I felt like it went well, and I felt like it covered many of the flaws of the game, and I really hope anyone that's, because my thought is, if the game actually is a 7 out of 10, and not in the sense of like game journalist 7 out of 10 where it sucks. 7 means the game sucks, right? But on an actual scale, if it's a 7 is okay / good. It means it's worth a buy, it's worth a playthrough. If I could deflate some of the hype, if I could give people an honest opinion. I mean, granted, I recommended against the game, so that's not going to happen, but maybe someone will see that and be curious enough, and maybe I'll make a second review. If I love it going through the second time, then I'll make another review. I'll be like, review 2, the review. We're repraying the game, right? Okay, anyway, yeah. Glad I made the review. I feel a little bit like a catharsis has happened. So, and hopefully that validates some of the people that feel like they're crazy because everyone is praising the shit out of this game. What is your guys' unique positive moment? That was mine. Hopefully your guys is just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.